Hello, my name is Pedro Troya, and today I'm going to be talking about AI job screening. The ethical question that I'm asking is simple. Can employers ethically use AI systems to screen job applicants? In other words, is AI a fair tool to be used for companies to make better decisions? Or is it just a system that can quietly reject people in very unfair ways? The action that's being tested here is a decision to use AI to scan resumes, rank candidates, and even reject applicants before a human can even look at them. And that's important because hiring is just not a business process. For the applicant, it can affect their income, their future, their career, and even their confidence. So this is not about technology being convenient. It's actually about if a computer should have the real power to have real decisions over people. AI job screening usually works by taking information from resumes, applications, or interviews and comparing to what the company says it wants. For example, the system may look for keywords, years of experience, education, skills, or past job titles. Some systems can even rank candidates from the weakest to the strongest. Some even analyze video interviews, looking for facial expressions, word choice, tone. That sounds advanced, and actually it is. But here comes the ethical problem. Because if you think about it, if the system is wrong or biased, the applicant will never know what happened and why he got rejected. They may just receive a rejection email and move on and think that they are not good enough. But maybe the real issue is the algorithm. Now, to be fair, companies do have real reasons to use AI in the process. Large companies can receive thousands of applications for the same position. A human may just not have enough time to review all of them. AI can help organize applications faster. It can lower cost. It can also make the process more consistent. And in theory, it could reduce human bias. For example, a human recruiter could just unconsciously judge someone by their name, age, appearance, accent. And AI could, in theory, look more for qualifications and skills. That's the ethical argument in favor of the AI screening. If the system is designed well, it can help companies review more people, move faster, and maybe give more applicants a chance. But the problem is that in theory does not always mean real life. AI systems learn from data, and hiring data comes from the real world. If the real world has bias, the AI can learn that bias. For example, if a company historically hired mostly one type of person, AI may start thinking that that type of person is the ideal candidate. Not because it's morally thinking, but because it's looking for patterns and copying them. And that can be dangerous because the system may appear neutral, but it's basically just repeating unfair decisions. It may reject qualified people because their resumes use different wording. It may punish people who took a career break. It may prefer candidates from certain schools or backgrounds. And the most frustrating part is that candidates normally they don't get a real explanation why the decision happened. They do not know if they were rejected by a system or by a person. They don't know the criteria that was used, and they often cannot appeal the decision. And that by itself makes the process feel less human. And honestly, I think that most of us would feel uncomfortable knowing that a system or an algorithm rejected us, and nobody could explain why. The ethical standard that I'm using is called ACM Code of Ethics. The ACM Code of Ethics is a professional standard for people who create or use computer systems. I'm gonna give focus on 4 main ideas from it. First, avoid harm. Second, be fair and non-discriminatory. Third, be transparent. Fourth, respect the dignity and the rights of people affected by the technology. Now I'm gonna test the employer's actions using those standards. The action again is this. An employer uses AI to screen, rank, or reject applicants. First, let's test it with avoid harm. AI hiring can cause harm if it unfairly rejects someone from a job they are qualified for. The harm is not physical, but it's still real. It can affect someone's money, career path, and opportunities. And if the system has errors and the company does not check them, then the employer is not avoiding the harm. But if the company uses the AI only as a first step and humans still review important decisions, then the harm is reduced. So under this part of the standard, AI screening is ethical only if there's human oversight. Second, let's test it for fairness and non-discriminatory. And that's probably the biggest issue. If the AI gives lower scores to people based on patterns connected to race, gender, age, disability, background, or language, then it is not fair. Even if the company did not have the intent to discriminate, the decision could still be discriminatory. And that matters because ethics is not only just what someone intended. but it's also the impact of the action. If a company uses AI but never tested for bias, then I would argue the company is acting unethically. The company is basically saying, we trust the system without checking whether the system deserves trust. For AI screening to be ethical, companies need regular bias testing. They need to check who is being rejected and why. Third, let's test it with transparency. Transparency means that people should have some type of knowledge on how decisions are made. That does not mean that companies should reveal their private business secret, but applicants should know at least when AI is being used. They should know what type of information is being evaluated, and if they're rejected, there should be a way to understand the general reason. Fourth, let's test it with respect to people. This is where the issue becomes more personal. A job applicant is just not a data point. They're a person with a story, responsibilities, pressure, goals. When a company decides to use AI to reject people automatically, with no human review or any appeal, it ends up treating them more like a bunch of files instead of people. Respecting people means giving them a fair process. It means not allowing technology to remove the whole human judgment that's going to affect someone's life. Now I also want to explain the global technology impact, because the issue here is not only local. AI hiring affects people around all over the world, because actually many companies hire remotely now. A person in one country could apply to a job in another country and be screened by the same AI system. And that means that one algorithm can influence decisions in different cultures, languages, and economies. A resume style that's normal in one country may not match what the AI expects. An accent, school name, work, history, career path may be interpreted unfairly. So the global impact is that AI hiring can either open doors for more people or actually close doors silently at a massive scale. If the AI system used the right way, it can reach people all over around the world. It can make the hiring process faster and more accessible. And because AI can process thousands or maybe millions of applicants, the mistakes also become bigger. So my final analysis is this. AI job screening is not automatically ethical or unethical. It depends mostly on how it's used. If an employer uses AI with human review, bias testing, transparency, and appeal process, then I think it can be ethical. In that case, AI is supporting the human decision making. But if an employer uses AI to automatically reject applicants with no explanation, no appeal, no testing, and no human oversight, then I think it's unethical. At that point, the company is using technology to save time, save money, while shifting the risk onto the applicants. My conclusion is that AI should not be the final judge of a person's opportunity. The final responsibility should stay with the humans. Because if the company makes benefits from using the technology, they should also make sure that the technology is fair. So at this point, I would not say that the question would be, can AI screen applicants? Because actually it can. The real question is, can companies prove that their AI system is respectful, not biased, transparent to the people that are going to be affected by it? And if they cannot prove that, they should not rely on it. Thanks for watching.